Hi, I'm Tony Hawk.
Welcome back to the Letters. I'm your host, Jeff Grosso. We're here with Tony Hawk to talk about nerdism.
Oh, I see.
No, to talk about skating, man. Like, you see all kinds of pieces on you for all kinds of various reasons. The icon, all this kind of stuff. And we just wanted to sit down and nerd out. Like, so when did you start competing and stuff? Like, how long from like when you started and like got into competition, got sponsored, all that?
I got into, well, you know, like, you had to compete to be recognized, to do anything, to have any validity in skateboarding. You had to compete, right? So I entered contests right away. I was like, oh, this is what you do. Right at the end of Oasis days, I got sponsored by Dogtown.
Amazing.
So my first sponsored setup was Mike Smith's hand-me-down, which was a Dogtown triplane, Indies, and Blood Wheels.
Yes. Blood revolvers were fucking awesome. You're gonna have to look up Fred Blood and show
Fred Blood, yeah.
Show him doing 540s.
A 540, look at the height on that one. He's cooking. Is an ollie air?
Yeah. When I got on Dogtown, Mike Smith was the pro. What people don't realize about Mike was that he wasn't trying to create a new style or movement, it's just the way he did things. Yeah. And so for his inverts, the way he tweaked them, it was just the way that he liked to do it. Yeah. And it was so unique, it was like, that's how Mike Smith does inverts. That's a Smith vert. Oh yeah, Smith stops.
Yeah, because everybody thinks it was a Smith grind, and it wasn't. He got the Smith stop cover on the purple Thrasher. And you just go up and you just lock in and stop and stand there and look cool and then fall back in. Everyone's like, Smith stop, fucking badass. And Losi was the one, and then you can go back even further with Shreddy and some of the other guys, you know, and Olsen and all those guys will sit there and go.
Forgot him in the world of Grosso now.
Yeah.
You just brought up Shreddy Reapers?
Yeah, well, because Shreddy will fucking go, Shreddy will go fucking ballistic, because he's really the first guy to like lock in and go, right? And
yeah. If I had to go through who inspired me through my life, Eddie Alguera, first and foremost, frontside rock, one-footed airs. Like, I had to learn Eddie's tricks. I was looking at a magazine as a kid. All I cared about was tricks, and he was the guy making up the tricks. Caballero, obviously, was a huge pioneer of so many vert tricks.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Caballero, frontside boneless ones, backside boneless ones on vert.
Hey, frontside board slide. Gons, obviously, you know, was the pioneer of true street skating as far as anyone's concerned. I mean, I know I'm just going for the big names, but I was right there, and those were the guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Rodney changed the world with his little flippy, weird tricks on flat ground that we couldn't really comprehend then, but we knew something was there.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand, freestyle contest then, there was the bowl contest, and then the freestyle contest happened, and it was just chaos, and people were jumping around and doing spacewalks and whatever, and then they'd call Rodney Mullen's name, and everyone would stop what they're doing and come down to the freestyle area and watch. Christian brought style and height.
Showmanship.
Yeah. I wanted any of my tricks to look like Christian's. Danny brought street skating to vert. Skating with Bucky and Bob through those years, like the stuff that was created in the early 2000s were stuff that I was so thankful to be part of, but also to witness. And nowadays, I can't, you know, there's just so much. It's the gates are flooded. What can I say? Stacy Peralta called me and said, hey, I heard Dogtown went out of business. And I was like, that must be why I haven't gotten any skateboards lately. So then I was on PAL, and suddenly I'm skating with McGill and Cab, and it was all just kind of overwhelming. I was a Del Mar local, right?
Yeah.
And from that point on. The crew there used to be Kevin, he moved to Arizona, Owen Nieder, Ken Park, Stedham, Reese Simpson, Alan Losi sometimes, Swang. Also, you know, the guys who worked there, Grant, Swift. Yeah, I'm leaving all kinds of people out. It was fun, man. It was nonstop. You know, Lester and I used to skate a lot together, and he was super progressive. I mean, Lester was the second guy to do McTwist. When the McTwist came out, Mike, it was his signature. He did it. He flipped it. It was a McTwist. That's gymnastics. Like, I don't know what is going on there. Then Lester learned it. He did it proper.
The drill bit.
Yeah, but he did McTwist it, right?
Yeah.
And then I learned it, and mine was straight up flat spin just because I didn't really understand how to go upside down. And then that became like, yeah, that's a backside 540. Like, that's not really a McTwist. Backside Vera, you know, when I did that, I was doing it halfway up. I was grabbing Stelmasky to get it around.
Yeah.
And I was in, whatever, Aspo Castle, and people were just like.
All right, and that'll be time for Tony Hawk. He's improved immensely throughout this series.
Like out of all your contributions, out of all the stuff you've done, like is there a handful of stuff that you're like, fuck yeah, that one's mine?
You mean for tricks?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Maybe the tricks that I'm most proud of are just more like stuff that I feel like broke through some perceived barrier, like an Ollie 540. When I first started trying that, it was a joke. Even the frontside 540, like I was just trying to copy Billy Ruff doing a unit. And then at one point I went too high and missed my hand and saw the landing, and I was like, oh, I could do that without putting my hand down, and eventually did it. And even then, like, it was in a PAL ad, but didn't really resonate.
The first thing, I remember you showing up to Whittier and everybody was doing fakie thrusters, fakie foot plants, and you did them grabbing frontside air, and you'd like pop them into your hand and grab frontside air.
Oh, yeah.
And go back in, and then you split, and then after you split, we all learned them. You think Madonna knows she's got a trick named after her?
I don't know.
And if she does know, do you think she's stoked?
Yeah. Well, and also, just so you know, one-footed air is like, that was Mickey Alba's.
Yes.
I watched him do it, and then I was like, oh my God, he's taking his foot off, and I just learned how to kick it further in the other direction and stuff. So
where he'd wiggle his foot?
All the one-footed stuff was happening. I did a one-footed Lena tail. And it was like, why did that keep going? And when I did it, like, I didn't do it the way people did it. I was just like barely getting my foot off, you know, hitting my tail, like.
You're the first guy to do them, and then it takes somebody like Jason Jesse standing off to the side. He's watching you, and he's like, fuck, that's cool, I'm gonna do that. And now all of us want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
if we can make it look anything like that, then let's do it. The first trick that I ever did that anyone took notice of was, what do we call it? Half cab frontside rock.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I looked over maybe 10 minutes later, and Eddie Alguera's in the brown bowl trying my trick. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, Eddie Alguera's trying the trick that I did. Like, that was, to me, was a huge deal.
I know you were really close friends with Ray Underhill. It'd be rad to dig out some footage of Ray.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, not a ton.
Well, you know, Ray really, well, for one, Ray just took the chance, drove from Tennessee to California on a wing and a prayer.
He did stalefish frontside inverts, I think.
Yep. My dad, well, first thing, my dad was much older. He was 43 when he had me, and so ended up in San Diego because he was in the Navy.
Skaters right now remind me a lot of aviators used to be. You knew you were in an elite group.
He was really supportive because he thought I finally found something that I really wanted to do all the time, like that I love doing and I wanted to get better at. And then he saw how the skate industry was waning, mostly just because there was no organization.
Yeah.
And so he took it upon himself to like start a competition organization. I mean, he saw a bunch of ragtag kids like us, outcasts, that found a sense of belonging and had no support.
Yeah.
And so he was like, let's get it together. And then, you know, and he had a militant background, literally a militant background. So he rubbed people the wrong way.
We definitely took your dad for granted. What your dad did for us was really, really cool.
So did I. I mean, that was hard. It was hard to be the sort of target of all of that anger too, because it was like, well, there's favoritism. You know, the finals are at Del Mar, and he's Tony's kid. You know, Tony's his kid, and then it was like, I started to sort of grow up, and then I was becoming my own man, teenager, whatever.
Yeah.
And my dad is at all the events.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to make this like very concerted separation from him in those days, and it got super hard. And actually, like, it came to a head a couple times where I was like, I don't want you to do this anymore. It's absurd that we have been able to be a part of this and see it come from such ridiculously humble beginnings. And something that was just our outlet, and we had no idea if there was a future in it. We didn't care if there was a future in it. We just did it because it spoke to us, and we loved the freedom it gave us. If someone were to really have documented a contest back then, like Lope's ramp, shut up and skate, it would have been like, are you guys serious? Do you really think this is a competition?
Yeah.
And we were just hyped to all get together. You know, it wasn't even like, it wasn't that we wanted to beat each other. It was just more like, we all get to, this is sick. This guy has a ramp in his backyard. It's insane.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, fast forward 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's this billion-dollar industry, and it's in the Olympics, and there's televised competition, and there's huge sponsorship, you know, and none of that stuff was ever in the plan.
No.
We were trying to make this thing that was like,
trying to make our friends
this is
laugh.
the next thing, this is cool. We were just trying to find something that spoke to us, and we found our community and was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
This is it. And I don't even care if you don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you want in. Like, we got it.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, if you want in, fucking come on in and play.
Yeah, come try. Like,
Yeah.
But give it a try. Don't just come in with the gear.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Hey,
I appreciate
thanks for having me.
I think we got
I'm not gonna lie, when you told me you want to do something that was focused on me, I was like, oh, here we go, bagel bites.
Excuse me, Mr. Hawk, could you, like, share? No way.
X Games.
Thanks for watching the letters.
Thanks for including me in the letters.
Tony Hawk, totally fucking awesome. Turn this shit off and go skate. Go hang out with your friends.
Learn proper bean plants.
Learn proper bean plants. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, man, that was always Tom. It's more fun for me to see where the skating is coming from that already have these scenes, you know, that weren't there because of some Olympic push, which are like Cambodia. You know, Skatistan started a project in Cambodia. There are a couple girls that are ripping in Cambodia. There's a full thriving skate scene in Ethiopia that I've actually been there. And, you know, there could be a legitimate hardcore team coming out of Ethiopia.
That would rule.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it would rule.
That's the silver lining to all of this international success, I think.
At the end of the day, like, you know, it's a toy. It's a toy for children, and the kids are always the equalizing factor. It can't be corrupted. You can't fuck with that. You fuck with everything else, but you can't fuck with the kids just having a good time in the corner.
It's still Saturday night and you still have no pants on. Season 9. Click here.